From verse 1 to 21, we're not referring to married people. Read it very well. Okay, as I want to reply to this comment, so if you want to know where this comment came from, just click on it. It will take you to the original video where, I made a very short podcast about Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 21 down to verse 24. Okay, brother, so the reason is that, now let me clarify us. I like this conversation. So verse Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21 sets the pace for verse 22 down to 24, 25. And this verse is actually referring to Christian household. Now, any form of relationship you have with people, be it marriage relationship, be it family relationship, be it a relationship in the community, this is the foundation of this, how to behave to people. You submit to one another in reverence to Christ. And submission here does not mean that weakness, or maybe you should forget about yourself, or that you're weak. That's not what submission means. Submission means putting other people's need before yours. Now, if it is a married relationship, if you're a husband, you put your wife's need ahead of yours, and if you're a wife, you put your husband's needs ahead of yours. And why are you doing this? You are doing this in order to honor Christ, because you're a Christian, right? Now, this same instruction is also expected in a family relationship. If it's between mother and daughter, father and son, parents and children, the parents also need to submit to their children. Children will submit to parents. I think what is happening here, maybe because some of us have a different, understanding, or a different meaning of what submission is. Submission does not mean that you are weak, so you are throwing yourself because you're weak to the other person. No, it is putting other people's need before you. It's called humanity in another language. Now, for example, I'll just give you a scenario of how I submitted to my daughter in a situation. There was a time she was having menstrual pain, and she was so weak and tired on the bed with pains. I went to the kitchen, I prepared breakfast, I packaged it, I brought it to her on the bed. I made a very hot herbal tea to help soothe the pain. I brought water for her. I did everything I could do to make her feel better that day. Now, this is me submitting to her. In case you're wondering, how can a parent submit to a child? This is what I did. On that particular day, I submitted. And why did I submit? One, because again, she needed it. I needed to put her own needs ahead of mine. And again, because of Christ. And another reason, because I am modeling submission to her. Now, if it's in a community or in a workplace, how do you submit? Now, your colleagues and the people you're working with, when you see that they need something, there is a need, and they need it more than you do, you put their own need ahead of yours. So that is submission. So Apostle Paul was, setting the pace, as in setting the foundation of how a Christian life should be. Submit to one another. Put other people's need ahead of you. Don't be selfish. In another language, don't be selfish. Be kind. That's basically what it means. Then verse 22 now said, wives, submit yourself to your own husband. If you are a wife, one of your wife duty is to do what? Submit to your own husband. That is, put your husband's needs ahead of yours. Put your husband's decision ahead of yours. Put your husband's choice ahead of yours. Simple. That's what it means. Okay. Then, furthermore, I think in verse 24 or 24 to 25, he now said, husbands, love your wife. What does love mean? And if you, inside the ingredient of love, submission is also there. If you have to love somebody, you will be selfless. You also put the person's need ahead of us. What are we fighting here? This is just a use of words. If you love somebody, you put the person's need ahead of yours. So this is what, that's the foundation. That's why these instructions are given. If we're selfless, then we would not see each other's faults, because we are all glazed, sprinkled, and designed with lots of faults. But if we are selfless, if I'm putting my need ahead of yours, then I will be distracted from seeing your faults. Do you understand? So this is what it means. Yes, as a husband, you need to also submit to your own wife. For example, if the decision is being made and you find out that your wife has a better choice, a better decision, how she can handle this area, she has a grace to handle certain things in this area, submit, allow her to handle it. Why? Because she is naturally blessed with it. If she's a good manager financially and you are not, and then in the home we need somebody to actually be very prudent when it comes to financial matters, submit to her, allow her to handle that. That is submission. So submission is not coming from the weak to the mighty. No, it's not a president general among the nation kind of situation of a thing. Submission, again and again and again, I repeat, means putting the other person's need, want, decision, choice, or whatever the situation might be, whatever the situation calls for, ahead of yours. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince and not to confuse you that submission means putting the other person's need ahead of yours, aka being selfless, aka meaning being kind to each other. Thank you. I still remain Ngozi Atiti. I'm signing out now. If you still want us to talk more about this, please use the comment section, and I'll be glad to share. Bye-bye.